Over the past 7 weeks, you've learned that Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise, refusing to take no for an answer. His organization engaged in kidnapping, arson, forced labor, bribery of security officer, and brutal acts of sex trafficking. Recall 2 pivotal moments. In March 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel, Combs violently dragged Cassie back into a freak-off, and in 2024 at Jane's house, he choked and struck her as she tried to escape. These are not isolated incidents. They are chapters in the same story of control. The defendant relied on silence and shame, believing his fame, wealth, and power placed him above the law. His staff reinforced his dominance, enabling unchecked crimes. This case involves RICO charges, including sex trafficking and transportation for prostitution, offenses also charged as standalone crimes. Racketeers grow more dangerous in groups, and the Combs enterprise existed solely to serve the defendant's desires, including his sexual ones. His inner circle, Chief of Staff KK, his enforcers Drock, Bonds, Rube, Uncle Polyphon, were armed and fiercely loyal. David James testified about Combs' gun, referencing the Suge Knight Diner incident. Law enforcement recovered multiple firearms, including a defaced rifle in LA and 2 AR-15s with obliterated serial numbers in the defendant's closet. Assistants like Brendan Paul, $100,000 per year, and KK, $650,000 per year, facilitated crimes without hesitation, whether procuring drugs or trapping a victim after an assault. They executed orders regardless of personal feelings. KK supplied cash and drugs across state lines, constituting interstate commerce. As the enterprise's leader, Combs knowingly participated in and committed multiple racketeering acts: drug distribution, kidnapping, arson, bribery, sex trafficking, Cassie and Jane, forced labor, and travel for commercial sex. Remember, only 2 acts are needed for conviction, yet the evidence proves far more. Drug distribution was central to the freak-offs. While Drock, KK, and Fahm played key roles, others ensured a steady supply of hard drugs: cocaine, meth, oxy, ketamine, GHB, shrooms, Molly. Quantities and sales are irrelevant. Distribution alone suffices. Dealers like Guido One Top and Baby Girl were known to the enterprise. Jane was twice instructed to transport drugs on flights to meet Combs, coordinating via text with KK, who directed her to retrieve the supply. Guido's messages to Fahm confirmed Combs owed $450, clearly for drugs. Brendan Paul's $780 request for personal Gucci items was another coded drug transaction. The defendant supplied drugs to Cassie at every freak-off and introduced Jane to narcotics during hotel stays. He even provided them to Carrie Morgan and Savannah Bonawan. His assistants were complicit at every turn. Brendan tested substances, Drock arranged purchases, and KK advised Jane on drug use. This was systematic drug distribution and kidnapping under California and New York law. Kidnapping occurred when Combs, after viciously assaulting Cassie and disfiguring her face, confined her at a London hotel to conceal her injuries. In New York, escort Daniel Philip Combs ordered Cassie into the bathroom. When she refused, he hurled a bottle at her, dragged her by force, slapped her, and snarled, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, you come here." By then, Philip couldn't even perform, but Combs wasn't done. He threw Cassie off a boat without her passport, falsely accusing her of stealing drugs. On the flight back to New York, he forced her to watch recordings of her own freak-offs and threatened to release them. That's coercion. You remember Cassie's words, "I didn't know what no would mean." Drugs may have dulled her pain, but explicit messages do not equal consent. In 2009, Combs wrote, "You're supposed to be seducing me all day." At her own birthday, he demanded a freak-off, leaving her no choice. For count one, Combs relied on KK, Drock, and Fahm, all fully aware of the crimes. KK arranged hotel access for escorts like Clayton Howard. Dave Jonathan Perez showed KK a video of Cassie with an escort. Fahm saw it too. Fahm supplied drugs for freak-offs on February 8th and 18th, 2024. After Jane's complaint, KK sent supplies for Wild King nights, including Drock's Iced and Cassie's Black Eye. Witnesses David James and Deontay Nash saw strangers entering. Jonathan viewed Jane's video. Proof for count 3, where transportation for prostitution doesn't require force, just intent. Combs paid for and booked escorts like Jules to London, charging $2,000 to an Amex card with the text, "I will tip you. This means for sex." Paul traveled to Turks. Reggie flew from Vegas to L.A. Jane sent $1,100 via Cash App, while Hotel Folio listed $4,000 in bodily fluid damages. KK coordinated Vegas trips for Wild King nights, enabling further exploitation. The forced labor count involved Cassie, Jane, Mia, and Capricorn. Cassie and Jane endured days of grueling sex acts, leaving them physically wrecked. Recovery took weeks. KK managed rooms and flights. Mia, at Revolt, went 5 days without sleep while Combs assaulted her. Penetration, forced oral sex, attacks on a jet, then again at a South Africa party. KK threatened her job if she didn't comply. HR, controlled by Combs, offered no recourse. Capricorn faced overtime threats in Central Park, forced into lie detector tests, and was blackmailed with career ruin if she didn't submit, all while struggling to provide for her son. Witness tampering followed Cassie's lawsuit. Combs called Jane, recorded by KK as they feared a criminal probe, warning, "I can't be speaking on this phone." He knew. 3 years of text pressuring her to say she enjoyed kinky _ could bury him. Sharp as sounds on the tape suggest notes being taken to manipulate her. Drock called Mia 5 times, urging her to lie, even after Combs bashed Cassie's head in. The Intercontinental video bribery was obstruction, a crime in the Southern District of New York. Counts 2 and 3 involved Manhattan freak-offs, Jules at the London Hotel. Count 4 centers on Jane in the Bronx. The evidence, videos, texts, testimony from Kid Cudi, Regina Ventura, Deontay Nash, proves Combs ran this enterprise with total control. Now, it's time to hold him accountable, find him guilty,